Hello everyone, good day. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Sima Gold. If this is your first time of viewing my channel, please kindly subscribe. So today we are going to be dealing on how to draft your blazer's jacket. And believe me, it's as simple as anything. And the first thing we need our shoulder measurement, we need the bust measurement, we need the waist, we need the hip, the blouse length, and the shoulder to waist. So for the shoulder, we are going to be dividing our shoulder by 2. So 16 divided by 2 gives us 8. For the bust, we have a bust of 34. You're going to divide your bust by 2. So for the waist, we have a waist of 25. And when we divide with 25 by 4, we have 6.2. When the hip 36 divided by 4 is 9, the blouse length 27, and the shoulder to waist is 16. So quickly, we are just going to go straight to the point. So I have my pattern paper already. So the only thing I'll need to do now is to measure my 8 inches from this point. I take my 8 inches and I measure here. And then the armhole measurement I'm going to be using is 8 plus 1 inch for your shoulder slope, so making it 9. So this is where the 9 is, and I'm going to be putting my 8 inches here. Put my 8 inches here. Then I'm going to use my straight ruler to draw a straight line for the armhole. Having done that, the next thing I'll be doing is to do my back neck. My back neck, I'm going to be using 3 by 1.5. I have 3 by 1.5, and then I'm going to be curving it. After doing that, I'll come down on my shoulder slope by 1. Then I'll use my ruler to connect. After that, the next thing I'll do is to come down to the chest line. The chest line is 34 divided by 4 gives me 8.5. So I'm going to be inserting my 8.5 here. Then I would get the shoulder to waist, and the shoulder to waist I have here is 16. Then I will draw a straight line on that 16. After drawing the straight line, the next thing I'll be doing is the waist circumference is 25. 25 divided by 4 gives me 6.25. So I'm going to be inserting my 6.25 here, and my dart allowance of 1 inch, I'm going to be inserting it here. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect my full blouse measurement. My full blouse measurement is 27. So I'm going to take it down till I get to my 27 inches. So I have my 27 inches here, and I'm going to continue that till I get a straight line that I'll be able to use to connect. So this is my 27 inches straight down. Then the next thing I'll be doing is to insert my hip measurement on that line that I have my blouse length. So my hip is 36. 36 divided by 4 gives me 9 inches, and I'm going to insert 9 inches at this point. After inserting my 9 inches, the next thing I'll be doing is to connect from the chest line to the waist, then from the waistline to the hip line. Having done that, I will do what I call the back tightening. So for the back tightening, you just need about ½ inch because you're making a blazers. So at the back tightening, you come to your waistline. This is the waist. W represent the waist, and you go in by ½ inch. The next thing you're going to be doing is to connect from your neck tip, for the tip of your neck at the back, to the waistline. Then you come to the hemming part, which is the blouse length. You come up a bit by 1 or ½ inch. and then connect back to this waistline, and you have your back tightening readily done. After doing your back tightening, the next thing you will love to do is to insert your dart measurement. And the dart measurement we are using for this blazers is 4 inches. So I'll take my 4 inches here on the waistline. I would come immediately after 1 inch. Let me draw a straight line for the chest line so we don't, you understand better. Now I'll come down from my chest line by 1 inch. Then I'll insert my darts of 4 inches here again. I'll come to the hemming part. I'll mark my 1 inch, go upward by 1. So it automatically means that my dart is going to fall on this straight line, which I'm going to be connecting right now. Having drawn the straight line for my dart, the next thing I'll be doing is to take half of an inch on both sides. After doing that, the next thing is just to connect your dart legs. So after connecting your dart legs, because this is a blazer and I would love to use the mid shoulder dart for this, instead of leaving it this way, what I would do is to come to the middle of the shoulder. Now this is the shoulder. I'm going to place my tape and I will get the middle of the shoulder. So I have 5 as a full shoulder here. The middle of 5 is 2.5. So that's the middle of my shoulder. What I will do is to connect it to my darts. And having done that, the next thing, the back of our blazers is ready. So what we just have to do right now is to cut this, and then we'll go to the front. So I'm starting from the down parts. Now at the down part, there's something I didn't talk about. If you want the down part of your blazer to have some kind of beautiful curves or something, or any shape you want, just simply go up by 1 at this hemming part and connect it. And yes, you have the beautiful curve that you want. So you just continue cutting. You go towards this part, you keep cutting like that and like that. Now when you look at those parts, you'll see that I have not curved the armhole. All you need to do is to get the middle of your armhole, which is 4. You go in by 0.2, you connect it this way, and you connect to your chest line. Then you continue cutting. Sorry, I forgot that. Then you continue cutting. Then you get to the neck part and you cut. When you get to this midpoint, shoulder, I would advise you go upward a bit by half of an inch. When you come up by half of an inch, then connect this way. Now the reason why we do this is, in the process of sewing, you might most likely get to have some shortage by this side, and you won't like to get stuck when you're trying to make your beautiful blazer. So that should help to correct such type of errors. You cut this one out like this. Please watch me carefully, and you cut this one like this, and you just keep cutting. So the side back is ready, and I'll write SB, and cut this one. Cut it out. The next thing you do is to cut this part out. So basically, these are the parts you need to cut off from the back of your blazers. And yes, the back part of our blazers is ready. So I label this SB and I'm labeling this CB, which is center back and the side back. So having done the back, the next thing we are going to do is go to draft the front part of your blazers. Front part of your blazers, you'll be needing a space of 5 inches here before you start drafting, and then you draw your straight line, and you'll be needing another space of 5 inches at this point. So I'll just keep going straight down until I get to the down part of my pattern paper. So you draw. Now this 5 inches is not fixed. It depends on how your blazer lapel is. If you want a bigger lapel, the more you want it, the more the space you have to leave will be. So but for this one, we have 5 inches space here and we have another 5 inches space here, and that is good for me. After this 5 inches, that is where I'm going to start taking my measurement from here. So I'll keep this for now. I'll take my 8 inches for my shoulder measurement here. Then I'll take my armhole measurement, which is 9 inches here. Same thing, I have my chest line already. I'll connect it. After connecting it, the next thing I'll do is to fix my chest measurement, which is 8.5. And I'm going to be getting my shoulder to waist, like we did for the back, which is 16. And on the line of that 16, I'm going to be imputing my my waist measurement, which is 6.2 plus 1 inches for my dart, which is 7.2. Then I'm going to start from this part, measure the blouse length or my blazer's length, and I have 27 here. I'm working with length 27. Then I'm going to draw the straight line like this. Having done that, on this straight line that I drew for the blouse length or the blazer length, which is also going to be the hemming part of the blazer, I'm going to be imputing my hip measurement there, which is 9 inches. So our blazer is almost ready. The next thing we are going to do is just to connect. You connect your chest line to your waist, and you connect the waistline to the hip. The next thing we are going to be doing now is the armhole, the shoulder slope, and the neck depth. So for this one, you're going to get the shoulder slope first, which is 1 inch. The neck measurement I'm using for this blazer is 3 inches wide and 3 inches depth. So this is my 3 inches wide and 3 inches depth, and I'm just going to simply connect it this way. Then I'm going to connect to my shoulder slope. Then I'll get the midpoint of this armhole, which is 4. My armhole now is 8. The middle of it is 4. I would go in by 3/4 of an inch. Then I would connect. After connecting to this 3/4, which is the mid armhole, I will connect it to the chest line. And yes, the upper part is ready. The only thing that is left right now is the shoulder to the nipple for me to fix the dart. The shoulder to nipple for this person is 10 inches. You can call it shoulder to apex, shoulder to bust point, whichever name you choose to call it. Now, this is what I have. And remember the dart we are using is 4 inches. So I'm going to simply take my 4 inches from this line, my 4 inches from this line. Then I'll come to the hemming part and I'll take my 4 inches too. After doing that, the next thing I will do is to draw a straight line connecting to my nipple point or my apex point. Then I'll draw a straight line connecting this way. Remember, you come up a bit by 1 inches. You come up a bit by one. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to come to this waistline like we did at the back. Take your 0.5, which is half, your 0.5 and 0.5. Then you connect. Then you connect this one too. You come to the hemming part and you connect. You do likewise the same thing. Then I'll just connect the middle part of the shoulder. So that's why you need to watch this tutorial very keenly and pay good attention. Remember, we came up by half of an inch upward here, and then I'll connect to the dart. After connecting to the dart, the next thing I'll do is to connect it to this place. And I already explained to us why we need to do this at the upper part of your mid shoulder dart. So the next thing I'll be doing is to talk about the lapel and everything for the blazers. So for your blazers, you'll be needing your breaking point. For your blazers, you'll be needing your breaking point and your button stand. So the first thing I'll be talking about is the button stand before the breaking point. The button stand could be one, it could be two, but this is just a basic notched collar. So I would love to use just 1 inch. So all you need to do is to, from this place, I'll explain to you, just mark one outward. And that will serve as the button stand for what we want to do. Then you connect straight down. So the idea is after this tutorial, you should have no reason to be afraid of making a blazer jacket. So after doing the button stand, the next thing you are going to be talking about is the break point. Now, what is the break point? The break point is where your lapel starts dropping from. And most times it is safer to say you start or you do your break point on the waist or 1 inch above the waist. Some will say they like their break point 1 inch below their bust point. Now, none of this is wrong. Fashion is your story you're telling. So for me, for this particular tutorial, I'm going to be coming up by 1 inches above my waist. So this is me taking up the 1 inch above the waist as my breaking point. As my breaking point. So this is a 1 inch above the waist as my breaking point. Then I will come to the neck part. From here now, the button stand does not count anymore. Where the button stand now counts is immediately after your breaking point. So whatever we are doing here now is our lapel. And I would like to come out from my lapel by say 3 inches. Now take note that there are no fixed measurement for the lapel. You can choose whatever measurement you want. So from this, so I lost a clip of that. I'll just briefly explain. So for my lapel, you come out from this point, the center front, by 3 inches. After coming out by 3 inches, all you need to do is to connect these 3 inches to your break point of 1 inch, which is your button of this button stand. So connect these 3 inches. I'll go again. You have your 3 inches here, and then you have your break point here, and you have your button stand before your break point. So all you need is to connect these 3 inches to this break point here. So having done that, the next thing we are going to be talking about is the upper part of the notched collar. Well, for the upper part of the notched collar, I have with me the back of my blazers. All you need to do at this point is to take a measurement of the round neck of the back of your blazers. And with me here, I have 3.5, which is 3.5. And then you go, you drop, you set this aside. Now that 3.5, all you need to do is to come towards this place. In a slanted form, you measure your 3.5 and you mark. After measuring that 3.5 like that, you will go inward like this by half of an inch. Then the next thing you do is from this tip, you connect it like this. So this one is now cancelled. The next thing you will be doing is to determine how many inches you want your lapel to be at the back. I would rather do 3.5 here. And if you watch the one I'm connecting, I'm not connecting it with a straight line. I'm using a slant line or a diagonal line, whichever you choose to call it, to do that. Then having done that, the next thing I will be doing is to come back to this point. I would go in a bit by 1 or half of an inch, but for this tutorial I would love to go in by 1. Then I would keep my ruler, my tape like this, do a slant line of 1 again. Then the next thing I would do is to connect from this point to this point. You can use a curve shape, you can use a straight line. For me, I will just use it's quite a slight curve to do mine. So having achieved that, the next thing you're going to be doing is to cut out this part. You cut it out, we cut out every part of our fabric. So we cut. Having cut it out, the next thing is to cut. You follow this shape, just follow the shape and keep cutting and keep cutting. And then you keep this aside. Look, take note that you are advised to label. So I did my center front, my middle neck of the back, and the neck of the front. Just label so you can be safe. The next thing I will be doing is to cut this part. So you can see I've cut there. So I'll just remember at the hemming part of your blouse, you can go up by 1. So since we did it at the back, it's advisable you do it at the front so that it can be uniform. So you connect it the same way, slightly curved to the front like this. Then you continue cutting. Then you continue cutting. When you get the armhole, just the normal cutting, the way you cut your fabric. Then I'm going to be cutting the middle part of the dart now. Then I'll do likewise the same thing here. Then you come to the shoulder, you cut, and then you cut this way. So like this. I don't know if you can see everything. Like this, we can say that the front part of our blazer jacket is ready, and this is the back part of our blazer jacket. So please, if you have your question, just drop it at the comment section. Okay, so I'll be dropping a tutorial on how to sew it, how to sew the welt pocket from the scratch, how to do the sewing, the sleeve, everything you need to stay glued on this channel if you know you've always have the phobia for making a blazer jacket. Believe me, after this tutorial is all gone. So till next time, I remain Sima Gold. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel.